Universities do more harm than good now.
Okay, so recently I was listening this interview of Jordan Peterson with Joe Rogan, and this line hit me, what Jordan Peterson just said. So yeah, and he is a professor. So I thought, okay, a professor is saying colleges are doing more harm than good. And this is the exact thing I was thinking before joining college. Should I join college or not? And yeah, but then I have joined the college and then dropped out within 1 year, and that was a good decision that I took that experience. And right now I'm doing online degree. So I thought, okay, this is a good point to analyze. And here there is no right or wrong answer that you should not join college or not. And many people, if I talk about the extreme points, so suppose in the right side, people are saying college degrees are bullshit, you don't need college study, you don't need college education. And in the left of the spectrum, people are saying colleges are the only thing to become successful, or you must have college degree, something like that. So this is a spectrum. There is no right or wrong answer. Again, this is just left and right, not politically. This is just a spectrum. And I have my personal biases. I believe there are no people who is neutral, right? I have my personal biases towards the right side. I have some inclination because I left college and I have experienced those things. So yeah, and but I am going to talk about the things where people can have inclination towards the left side, that yeah, you need a college degree. So yeah, let's analyze this. There is no right or wrong answer. So I will react in the two clips, on the two clips of Jordan Peterson. One is the podcast where Jordan Peterson was being interviewed by Joe Rogan, and I will react on the specific portion only. And after that, I also will react on a clip from Jordan Peterson again. So yeah, and let's understand about this, because yeah, he is a college professor. So let's understand the perspective. So okay, this is the part, this is the interview, and I am just going to react from here, maybe 5-6 minutes. So let's understand it.
Well, it's just so strange that these sort of courses and these sort of ideologies are thriving in universities. And it's really disconcerting to someone who has children. Mm-hmm. And you know that your children are going to go there and they're going to be exposed to these ideas.
You know, I think that
wow,
I think
a
that
guy
the
used to teach at Harvard just says send him to trade school.
I think the universities. I think the universities. I think you can make a reasonable case that the universities do more harm than good now. I hate to say that.
One more point I want to address here. Jordan Peterson is saying this also from the political point of view. It's not only that there are a lot of things, a lot of direction we can go in this statement. But here Peterson was saying also from political point of view that colleges are trying to teach you certain ideologies and they are not allowing you to explore maybe other things. So basically they are trying to take your freedom away. And yeah, so that is the point of view of Jordan Peterson here. But there are other point of views also. I am not going to go too deep on the political point of view only. So yeah, let's listen it first.
Well, this is a strange time where access to information is so incredibly easy. You could educate yourself
right
seemingly endlessly online, and with books, and just there's so much information available. This is not the 1930s. It's not a time where it was difficult to get an education outside of a university.
The universities may have, or the university, which is like the repository of human wisdom and the attempt to expand that, may have already moved outside the universities. You know, just because an institution calls itself a university doesn't mean it is. And many disciplines have turned into ideological factories. And so where's the university? I mean, the university is where anyone wants to learn about their culture and where anyone wants to expand the domain of human competence. And a lot of that's happening online now. So maybe that's the future. The only thing the universities have now, I think, that people can't get elsewhere is accreditation. But they're doing everything they can as fast as possible to make their accreditation valueless anyways.
So this is very important point in terms of the learning perspective. You can learn almost anything from online these days, and maybe you will have more freedom to learn about those things. But the only thing you can't get with online things is accreditation, the certificate, the degrees. Yeah, there are online degrees also, but most of the cases, suppose you are not enrolling into universities, then you are not going to get the degrees actually, right? Suppose you are learning from YouTube, learning from books, then you are not going to get degrees. But you are valuable enough, or maybe more valuable than a degree holding guy or girl. So that's the point he's trying to say, and this is a very valid point, and I have understood that last year only. And yeah, so this is a very important part.
So yeah, it's a terrible thing to say that the universities may do more harm than good, and I haven't come to that conclusion lightly.
Well, there's
and I
also,
hate to say it.
I'm sure you do. There's also a gigantic financial stake, the amount of money that you're...
Well, and this is especially the case in the US. I mean, one of the things that's happened over the last 30 years.
In India also, I think if you are spending maybe 20-30 lakhs on engineering degrees, private colleges mostly, you are also spending more than 50 lakhs in your private medical colleges, and those are pretty big numbers compared to US. Yes, it's cheaper, but people, the poverty level is also very high in India. So yeah, education is getting, basically the college wala education is getting too much expensive every single year, and with that the value of education is also decreasing. So this is the main point here. Let's continue.
Is that the proportion of university expenditures that's gone to the administration has massively increased. And at the same time, the student loan burden has increased. And so what's happened in a weird sense is that the administrators have conspired to steal the future earnings of their students. And then you can't declare bankruptcy. So to me, it's indentured servitude.
Well, you can't declare bankruptcy on student loans.
Right,
That's a very important distinction.
That's right. You cannot declare bankruptcy on student loans. So you think about that.
Okay.
You tell me what difference there is between that and indentured servitude.
There's not much, because it's the only thing that I can even think of where that's the case.
Corporations can go bankrupt.
Right.
They
and
do it all the
individuals
time.
Individuals can. Businesses can fail. You can be deemed incompetent or not capable of paying your debt in every other case, but not with universities.
Yep, right.
That is crazy.
It is crazy.
It's crazy because they were just trying to combat the issue where so many kids were defaulting on their student loans. They try to make you perpetually responsible for it, or, the idea is that these kids have to learn responsibility.
I think this is also a very valid point. When the prices or fees of education is too high, people have to take loans. And then if you suppose doesn't want that job you are getting from your university or college, you have to do that, right? So because you need to pay back your loan, and that is also a huge problem. So if you are learning in college with loan, especially if the loan amount is too high, that can cause so many problems for you. That can cause so many problems for you, because you have to take certain jobs you don't like, and maybe you have to settle in less amount. And suppose if we talk about the math, if you are taking loan of 30 lakhs maybe, or 20 lakhs for engineering colleges, and then in India, and people are getting maybe 4, 5, 6 lakhs annual packages mostly in the from the private colleges. So if I consider that you are getting 5 lakh package and you have a loan of 20 lakhs, that means you have to spend 4 years to match your 4 years. You have to work 4 years to match your college study wala amount, but then you also have loan, so there will be some interest, and also you will have some own kharcha, right? Maybe you will live in a better place, better placement, better city. Suppose you are from tier 2, tier 3 cities from India, and for jobs, mostly private companies, you have to relocate in tier 1 maybe, right? And most of the people are not from tier 1, so they don't have houses in tier 1, so you have to pay for rent, pay for food and other expenditure, other expenses. And yeah, so if you calculate that na, if you are average, then maybe you will need 5 to 10 years to repay your education loan. I'm talking about if you are average. Okay, of course there are outliers, there are people who will get good jobs, who will have good knowledge about personal finances and all, but in for the average scenarios na, this is a horrible thing. So yeah, and that was the exact reason I didn't opt for uh, computer science and private colleges, because I was not getting good marks on JEE, and I didn't have too much amount to spend on my college education, and I didn't want to also take loans and all. So yeah, that is a very important reason, because you need to basically you need to become free. You should have freedom to choose what you want to do, and if you have too much burdens, then it is very बहुत मुश्किल है, right? It's very impossible to do certain things you wanna like. So yeah, continue it.
Is that the way to do it? By overcharging them for some useless
Well, I would
education?
also say that it's not a particularly useful to burden your citizenry with a massive debt as soon as they graduate, at a time when they're most likely to take entrepreneurial risks.
Yes.
You know, you're not going to take entrepreneurial risks if you're so burdened with debt you can't get yourself off the ground.
Yeah, and we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt with people that if you're lucky, you're going to make what, $40,000, $50,000 a year straight out of college, if you're lucky. So you're dealing with
So what he's saying, if you are lucky, you will get a package of $40,000 to $50,000 in US, and most of the college fees, I think, are more than 100K or something. So if I just search quickly, average computer science degree cost in US. It's around 50K per year, which is 200K for the 4 years bachelor's degree. And if I talk about the average placement, I think 50-60K would be the average placement for computer science on United States. So yeah, you bro, it's a huge amount. Yeah, you need to spend 4, 5, maybe 10 years to just repay your college expenses, especially if you took loans. Man, it sucks.
the amount of money that you would have to make if you didn't pay any taxes or didn't have any expenses. You'd have to work for 4 or 5 years, longer than you would actually be in college to get that degree in the first place. It's insane. It's insane.
I would say, too, to the university students who are listening, like, a lot of your professors are Marxists. Ask them if they're Marxists. Read the good.
Now, this is going again towards the political side, and I have not experienced the political angles of universities till now, and so I don't want to comment on those things. So yeah, I think this part is clear, and now let's talk about my own beliefs here. Okay, so what we have noticed that first, you don't need university or college education to learn or to educate yourself. That is the point one. Now, here are some exceptions also, right? Suppose you wanna do something in medical profession, especially if you wanna become a doctor, a surgeon, you have to have a proper education. So that is kinda separate from your other educations. It's true for other professionals also, where you for doing that profession you need some accreditation, what Jordan Peterson also said. Like if you want to become a lawyer, you need a law degree. I assume that, I think. If you want to become a doctor, you need MBBS or MD kind of degrees. So yeah, for doing that profession you need those degrees. But you suppose you want to learn for curiosity. I didn't study biology in my 11th 12th actually, but I consume Human Lab podcast to educate myself, to learn more about biology, to make the life better. So I suppose I'm interested into biology, not for a profession, but for my own curiosity. Then should I go for a degree? No. You can have books, you can have podcasts, you can have YouTube lectures, everything. So you have to understand one thing: what you want to do professionally and what are the things you want to learn can be different. So yeah, suppose you are a freelancer or a creator, but you want to learn more about other things. You don't want to learn about only marketing, you want to learn more about maybe philosophy, maybe psychology. So will you need to go for a degree, for a philosophy or psychology degree? No. So this is the point यहाँ पे जो क्लियर करना important है. And that is also a con of a college education. When you are in college and you are learning about certain things, suppose you are learning maybe engineering and specifically maybe computer science engineering, then you are only learning about computer science subjects. Many people can say, okay, that's good, but what about other thing? What about holistic development? And also, are universities giving you that free time to explore other things? Are they encouraging you to explore other things? People can say, okay, there are clubs and all, especially in the good colleges, but again, are they encouraging you? Are they giving you the opportunity to skip classes? No. In India, especially engineering colleges, almost every college have 75%, 85% attendance criteria. This is bullshit. You wanna explore other things also, right? And you should explore other things also. And because in 18 or in 16, suppose you are choosing science in after your 10th board, you are choosing maybe engineering or medical after your 12th, you are not mature enough to choose your whole career on that moment. So you should not bind yourself in a certain things, in a certain subjects. And it's also true for political things also. You should not bind yourself in certain ideologies, what Peterson also said. But yeah, you have to understand that is the major con of university in terms of learning section. Okay, now yes, you need an education degree for your profession. So if you are aspiring to become a doctor or something like that, you need a college degree, of course, but don't let your holistic development die. Learn about other things also. Cool. Now let's talk about the second part, what Joe Rogan also mentioned, that is money. Okay, So yeah, education, the cost of higher education, the cost of college education is increasing every single year, and the effect, the placement numbers or the outcome of that is decreasing every single year. I will mention any graph if I uh, found, then I will mention that. It's very common sense, it is very uh, normal, right? अगर तुम थोड़ा सा common sense लगाओ तो you can think about it. Suppose if you are into this space, if you are into, suppose, computer science space, so you can heard the news, the average placement of any colleges 4 years back. You can I think you could see that okay, the graph is not that increasing. Suppose 4 साल पहले तुम्हें एवरेज किसी कॉलेज का 5 लाख था, so अभी मे बी 7 lakhs हो गया है. But inflation is also rising, okay, and your college education is also rising more than that, the cost of college education. So what's the benefit? The outcome wise, I don't see any benefit of spending more money on college education. Especially against if you're not someone, if you're someone who don't need the specific degree for a specific profession, okay. And another point, what I have personally experienced with college, I have talked with a lot of college students, and I have been there for 1 year. I observed that people are marrying with certain identity. Suppose you are from an IIT, you are saying I am an IITian. Of course, this will increase your social status and all. But if you are marrying with a certain identity, especially in your early age, then that will also hamper your holistic development. When you will say I am an IITian, or I am an engineer, or I am a certain professional, or I am only what I am doing. Maybe suppose you are engineer, then you are saying I am an engineer. Of course, there is no harm to say that, but if you think critically, that agar tum engineer ho, it doesn't mean you will not explore other things. It doesn't mean you will not maybe explore marketing. It doesn't mean you will not explore spirituality, philosophy, politics, something like that. So the point is, you don't need to learn only the subject for your professional career. Okay, so that is the main point of the whole video here. And college students, especially who are only focusing on college, are missing this. And the point of college and education system is also that I have listened a documentary, I forgot the name. There they were saying that I think education system was started on late 1890s or something like that. I forgot again. They are saying that government were trying to produce mass factory laborers, and that was the reason or motivation to start education system. So they don't want they don't want that you will become a creative person or something. Yeah, there are art school and all, okay, but most of the things, okay, they don't want that you will become a critical thinker, okay. Most of the cases I am talking about, and this is what I have observed also. Yeah, and that doesn't make sense, right? So take accountability basically. And I'm not talking about that you should not do college studies or you should do college studies. because both of the spectrum or both of the extreme are not good. If you are someone who think that I don't need a college degree, what I was thinking last year, then okay, fine. But ask yourself, are you doing something challenging or enough, or more challenging, more important than college education? Are you doing that in present? If not, then you should go for college. Because अगर तुम कुछ चैलेंजिंग चीज़ें, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें नहीं कर रहे हो, then maybe you are lazy and you are saying मुझे कॉलेज में नहीं जाना है, मुझे एजुकेशन नहीं करना है, because you are just procrastination, you are just procrastinating, right? So that is also not good, right? You will be depressed if you just sit and doing nothing, right? Of course people can say doing nothing is also a good work and all mindfulness and all, but doing nothing have different meanings. Doing nothing for particular moment is different, doing nothing in life is also different. So yeah, that is not the point for this conversation. So yeah, for in this topic na, Jordan Peterson has another clip, another video. Just let me put that out. I have listened this yesterday. Okay, this one.
So there's some high school students here. And there's some parents who brought their high school students. So there's a couple of
voluntarily, I hope.
Well, or the kids brought their parents. I'm not sure which.
Maybe.
But what advice would you have for 18 and 19-year-olds who feels that college isn't for them?
Well, it's possible that college isn't for you. You know, I mean, there's other things you can do that are productive. If you're wondering, if you're a high school student and you're wondering if college is for you, one of the things I would recommend is choose as an alternative something equally or more difficult.
Yeah.
And I would say to all of you, if you're ever facing a decision in your life, this is kind of a good rule of thumb, because you always have to ask yourself, is this not right for me, or am I just useless and lazy? And looking for an easy way out, right? Because some people are more prone to that than others. If you're not very conscientious, for example, you're going to be more prone to that sort of thing. But it's good to keep yourself in check. And so maybe you're not doing very well in your job, and you think, well, I should either do a better job at my job, or maybe I should find a new job. And it's hard to do better at your job. And so then you might wonder if your decision to find a new job is just an escape. But if the rule is you'll only escape to something equally or more difficult or more challenging, let's say, then you kind of check yourself against your own temptation. And that's a useful thing to do. And so I would say, well, if you're a high school kid and you don't want to go to college because you don't think it's for you, well, fair enough. Do you have a better plan? And if the answer is no, well, that's not a very good plan.
So this is a good point. What I was facing this similar issue last year. जब मैं बोल रहा था मॉम डैड को कि मुझे कॉलेज नहीं जाना है, and but what I was trying to do last year, I was exploring different things. I have not started creating content, and I was not making any money, and so I was confused basically what I want to do. When that's why I have experienced the college life, and that was a good decision for me. And yeah, I lose some money there, of course, but I have gained a lot of experience and clarity, you can say. But right now, or when I have dropped out, would I have plan for future what I want to do? Clearly no, but I had clarity that what I don't wanna do, and maybe few things what I wanna do. So it's not like जब तुम कॉलेज नहीं जाना चाहते हो you have to have a proper plan or something. It's not like that only, but it will be better if you are doing something maybe for few months, last few months, और तुम्हें पता है कि तुम उस चीज़ में डेप्थ में जाने वाले हो. If you are someone and then you are saying I don't want to go for college, that is very good. And again, if you are monetizing that skill or monetizing that thing, then तो भाई monetizing मतलब अगर तुम 10,000 भी कमा रहे हो from that before going to college, then superb, right? Take the decision easily. You can take a decision easily. बट द प्रॉब्लम तब होता है जब तुम्हारा बहुत सारी चीज़ें माइंड में होता है बट यू आर नॉट एक्चुअली डूइंग इट. देन यू शुडंट टेक द रिस्क बिकॉज मे बी you are lazy, you are useless. And this is also what I have observed when I have dropped out from the college. I would have a lot of time, but I was procrastinating a lot because मुझे लग रहा था भाई इतना टाइम है मैं करूँ क्या इतना टाइम का, right? That's why also I have started freelancing projects also. Of course making money was a big part there, but मुझे टाइम को फिल भी करना था, मुझे उतना भी फ्री टाइम नहीं चाहिए था. So that is also important. You need free time, but you don't need maybe 24 hours free time. Okay, you should occupy yourself at least half of the day or at least a specific hour, specific blocks. And especially if you are someone who is trying to figure out what I need to do. And अगर तुम सिर्फ माइंड में ही सोच रहे हो तो भाई बहुत गलत है. I was doing a lot, almost a year I have done only thinking भाई ये करना है, but I was not doing anything.
Right? It's college or nothing. Well, go to college then.
Yeah.
Because nothing is a really bad plan.
Yeah.
And
You will be depressed अगर तुम मतलब कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो ना, तुम सीधा घर पे बैठे हो ऐसे, and this is horrible. ठीक है. And this is also another point I want to mention about college, and then I will finish this video. Okay, so one thing, जब तुम सोचते हो कि तुम मतलब living alone और trying to grow in life और तुम कॉलेज नहीं जा रहे हो, you will hit a loneliness phase. Okay, because you're trying to grow and your previous friends, your old friends maybe are not growing, so they will fall behind, and you are growing but you are not in that level or in that stage where you will find people who like you, right? Who are like you. So this is also Alex Hormozy talked about this problem a lot. This phase is important, but handling this phase is not easy, and I am currently in that phase, you can say. And yeah, it's boring, it's challenging, but boring things are not bad, right? So you have to embrace boredom basically. So that's another point I want to mention in the college part. So yeah, college is really good for fun, really good for communication, really good for having under a community, a friend circle. This is important for your happiness and all, but again you should think in what cost you are having those things. This is important. Chalo, let's continue it.
the most miserable 40-year-olds that I dealt with in my clinical practice were pursuing exactly the same nothing at 40 they were pursuing at 20, except they were now 40. And it's just not that cute when you're 40. So it's not that cute when you're 20, really, but it's really not that cute when you're 40. And so if you don't want to go to college, you should do something else. And there's lots of other things to do. You can go to trade school, or you could go to a tech boot camp, or you could...
Trade school means school where they teach trading, maybe. Trade school. A school has students learn skills that involve working with their hands. Okay. I thought it will be trading school or something like that. Working with their hands. Acha, so it's a training for workforce or something. Okay, I got it. So basically real world skills जो तुम वर्कफोर्स के लिए काम करते हो ना, वर्कफोर्स में यूज होता है ऐसे. अच्छा अच्छा, आई डिडंट नो दैट.
Go into the military, or you could go get a job, or you could pursue something creative, or you could generate an enterprise, or you could do volunteer work. It's like you want to have a vision that justifies your decision not to go to college. And you could try college.
But I believe you want to have a vision to justify your decision. That is important, but you should also do that work in action. ओके जब मैं कॉलेज नहीं जाने वाला था, मेरे पास विजन तो बहुत कुछ था, बट मैं एक्शन नहीं ले रहा था, राइट. सो आई थिंक फर्स्ट यू शुड हैव टेकन एक्शन, एंड विद दैट यू शुड हैव द विजन्स, देन इट्स गुड. आई थिंक एक्शन लेना भी इम्पोर्टेंट है. ओनली विजन इज काइंड अ sign of procrastination also.
For a year or a semester and see how it goes. And then I would also say, even though I
have done
somewhat and justifiably cynical about higher institutes of higher education, when I went to college and university, particularly university, because the college I went to, which was a small college, was a very good college, and most of the professors there really wanted to teach, and I learned a lot there. But at university, it was much more hit and miss. A fairly high proportion of the classes were abysmally bad. They were taught by people who had no business whatsoever teaching
abysmally bad. Wow. What a vocabulary, bhai. Pata hi nahi mera matlab
anything to anyone. Even though they might have been credible researchers, they were terrible communicators. And that was at least one class out of 4. And then another, at least 1 out of 4, wasn't good for other reasons. So even when the universities weren't corrupted to the degree they are now, if you wanted to go to university and get a good education, that was sort of on you. You had to pick and choose between the professors. You had to use your head to find the elements of value. And I think that in most educational institutions you can still do that, although it's not the case that you can do that at all of them. And it's increasingly less likely that that's the case in the humanities, I would say. Okay. But I'm not so cynical that I believe it's impossible to go to the typical higher education institute and be careful and learn. Because there's always the library too, and the library is full of books, and books are written by great people, and you can go read the books written by great people, which is what you should be doing when you go to college anyways, or going to university, and you can still do that. And the other advantage to going to college is that you buy an identity, because you can say to people when they say, well, what are you doing? Which is sort of like saying, who are you? You can say, I'm a student. And that gives you an identity. And student means I'm someone who's made the sacrifices necessary to allow myself the freedom to determine who I want to be through a period of study extending over about 4 years. And it's not nothing to buy that identity, right? And to share it with other people. It gives you a walled garden to inhabit while you sort yourself out. And you deprive yourself of that at your peril. So if you don't want to go to college, then do something as good or better. And if you can't, then go to college. Don't sit around and do nothing. That's a very big mistake.
Okay. So The point is, when you're doing nothing, you don't have any identity that you can say people, right? You can't say I'm doing nothing. So that is also a very that can also be a problem, right? So yeah, so if you are not if you are someone who are not going to go to college, or who don't want to go to college, then do something which is equivalent or better, basically what Jordan Peterson trying to say. And I think for me, what I'm doing right now, it's better than my college education for me, because I don't have any interest there. I don't like the teaching style and all, the concept, and I don't like the subjects, basically. That's the main part. So yeah, for me, it's better what I am doing right now: creating content, making videos, freelancing to figure out what I like, what I don't like, and also exploring other subjects like psychology, philosophy, and yeah, trying to build habit of reading books. And yeah, I am not a good reader. So yeah, that's the thing. And if you're someone who want to know my story about dropping out, then you can check the video here, कहीं पे दिख रहा होगा. And yeah, that's it.